It has been a moderately long day, but there are now 5 coats of Coppercoat on the bottom of Coric. I'll show you how we've done it and talk a little bit about the detail of how it all goes on. I hope you enjoy this video. Thank you very much for watching. It was a long day yesterday putting the Coppercoat on, and when we looked at it after it had dried a little bit, we were pleased with how it had gone on. But it's probably worth saying that it's not a wonder material, and a number of people commented after the last episode when I mentioned I was going to do this that it might not be the panacea to all things, and I think I probably knew that. I certainly did a fair bit of talking to people, including surveyors, about their advice on this, and it is very much the case that different antifouls work in different conditions and different parts of the country. So the main thing for me in deciding to do this now was very much that the boat was going to be in the shed, and therefore there was a good opportunity to do the job and do it properly. Doing it outdoors in the winter can be a highly risky activity, but we had the opportunity to do it right. We had the expertise. James and his team, especially George, have done this a few times before, and therefore was a chance of getting it right. And the prospect of having a anti-foul surface that, while it might well get grimy, should be able to hose off reasonably quickly seemed very attractive to me, having spent a fair few days underneath friends' boats, either hosing them off, scraping them down, preparing them, or indeed applying the anti-foul. If I can get away from some of that, I think it'll be a job well done and a price that I'm happy to pay. But I'll show it going on. It almost literally is a case of watching paint dry in places, so if you don't want to watch that, skip forward to the end. Thanks very much. Bye. The day started with giving the boat a final rub down and dust off. We then made sure that we had enough Coppercoat to do the job. This comes in kits. You get the copper itself, the base, and the hardener, as well as a little bit of thinner, and it all mix up in one pot in an amount that you can apply in an appropriate time. George, who's done this before, took us through the initial mix and the application of the first bit of this, and as it goes on, it is reasonably deeply underwhelming. It looks quite patchy, but you have to be careful that you don't try and put it on too thick, otherwise you end up ripping it all back off again. So myself and Kai, under George's supervision, put the first coat on, and then took a little bit of break, and the rest of it looked a lot like this. As you may or may not remember from the last video, we were all masked up and prepared, and we have put 5 coats of Coppercoat on. We've removed the masking, now that's all on, otherwise there's a chance you never get it back off. But she is looking okay and just drying out a little bit. It was really good that we had the rudder off while we did that, because we were able to get in behind there. And next job, rudder back on. And there is the rudder, painted separately. As with so many things, preparation is the key, so there was a fair bit of effort went into making sure the hull was ready to go, and having the rudder off was an added bonus, I guess. The instructions for putting it on and mixing it up are pretty much simplicity itself. Getting the consistency right. It was a little bit runnier than I thought it would be, and certainly the first few coats going on looked remarkably thin, and I was glad to have the advice of people who'd done it before that wasn't something to worry about at that stage. It went on 5 coats, took us from about 8:30 through to about 5:30, 2 of us working side by side. But overall pleased with the results so far, and time will tell how it works in the water. I hope it's been useful. I hope the thought process and the application are useful to anybody who's thinking about doing this in the future. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Goodbye.